Hi guys, so today's video is going to be a bit of a serious one. I'm going to be talking about something that I haven't really gone in depth about publicly, but I'm at the point now where I feel like I kind of have to. So this mainly focuses around one person. I will be naming them when I start talking about what's happened, because if I don't, then there's no real point of this video. You know, the relevant people involved need to know who this video is about and what is actually going on. I am going to be as thorough as possible because I don't really want to have to talk about this again. I kind of just want to make this one video and then hopefully be done with it. So yeah. So the person I'm talking about is, I don't even know how to, where do I start with this? The first thing that she did that I have to address is the first time I ever saw her, she physically assaulted me, and then what I've had to deal with since that for the past 2 years has been basically slander and defamation and just dragging my name through the dirt, and that's really what I need to put a stop to. Because I have to talk about this now, I need to explain the whole story and how I know this person, this delightful person. And that's the thing that makes this hard as well, is that for anyone that knows this person, it would be a bit of a shock, or they probably just won't even believe me, and that's fine. You know, I'm not trying to turn anybody against this person, but there have been things said that I am not okay with because they are not true and they are affecting me. They are causing me stress and anxiety. I don't like being lied about. I don't like having rumours going around about me. I don't like people knowing things or thinking things that aren't true. I don't like it. It makes me very uncomfortable and on edge and stressed out, and that's why I'm doing this. That's why I feel like I have no choice. And she's not gonna like it. Why the fuck would she? But there's consequences to actions, I suppose, and that's life. The annoying thing about this is that, as I was saying, you know, people are not gonna expect this if they know her, because she presents herself online especially as seemingly a nice person, and I just have never experienced that side of her, unfortunately. So this story starts off back in September of 2017. I lived in London at the time. I was attending Middlesex University, doing photography, and I matched with a seemingly nice looking boy on Tinder, that app we all love. That boy ended up being in my life a lot. We got very close to the point where we were basically dating. He just refused to call it that. You know, he was, I'll be honest, that was the first male I had ever had such a close relationship and connection with, because I don't really make a habit of spending time around men. But we dated for about, started end of September, all of October, all of November, and a couple weeks into December, I believe. I ended it, sort of. We had an argument and that was that. And I think within a week or so, he posted a picture of a girl on his Snapchat who was in bed, naked, covers over her. They'd obviously just had sex, and that's the first time I ever saw or knew anything of this girl that this video is dedicated to. And I'll be honest, I wasn't angry at the girl. I was a bit annoyed at him that it's like, 1, does she know you've taken and posted that? 2, gross. 3, like, come on dude, it's been like a week. You know, like, he was just ready to get back out there, so like, whatever. But I had no negative feelings towards this girl, and I don't think I ever would, towards anyone that gets with someone after or before me, because it's not really anybody's business. When I start seeing someone, I don't know who they've, I dropped my notebook. When I start seeing someone, I don't know who they've just been with. You know, that information is usually not talked about or shared. So I would have no reason to think that she would know anything about me, and it's none of my business. You know, I didn't want him, so you know, he's up for grabs. So as far as I'm aware, their relationship lasted a few months. I had brief contact with this boy in between those months, just over text, just, you know, asking how each other are. I was quite hurt, I'll be honest, because he, as I said, he was the first boy that I had been with. So you know how that shit be. I just wanted some closure. I had no interest in trying to get him back or anything. I didn't know he was with someone until he told me. Sometime in January or February, I think he said that he was with someone else, and I was like, okay, none of my business, but fine. So then in April, he texted me saying that he is really sorry for how he treated me, how everything went and how things left off, and he wanted to apologize. So I did ask for him to say it to my face. So we met up in person and he apologized. And after that, he very quickly tried to befriend me again and get close to me. And then we were friends again for about a month. End of that month, we stopped being friends because he very quickly returned to his old habits and moved on to a new girl, and then completely blanked me out of the blue. So we very abruptly stopped being friends again. I hope you're all up to date with the story so far. I date boy, we break up, boy meets new girl, they break up, boy apologizes, we hang out, we no longer friends. That's where we've gotten to. Okay, so now we are in May of 2018, and my friend from America comes to visit me and stay with me. When we were talking about what we wanted to do and planning our trip and everything, we decided that we wanted to go clubbing somewhere because she was 18 at the time, so she couldn't go out clubbing and drinking in America, and she wanted me to take her somewhere cool in the UK, and she wanted to dress up and go somewhere like where we could like dress up. And I found a club called Reptile in London on Facebook through one of my friends who had clicked like attending on the event, and it came up in my notifications, and it was on the day after that she was arriving, and that's the day we wanted to go out. So it was the perfect day that we wanted to. It was quite close. It was in North London. We lived in North London. So this was on the 12th of May, and we got ready. We put our outfits on. We looked beautiful. We went to the club, and we were there for about an hour maybe, when we were sat down at a table on the side, and my friend Cora said to me, hey, isn't that your ex's girlfriend or your ex's ex? Cora is very good with faces. She has a great memory for faces, and I do not. I am also short-sighted and I never wear my glasses, so I can't really see people's faces from further than like 2 meters away, and if I don't know their face very well, then I'm just not going to recognize it. If I do know someone's face, I'll be able to pick it up even if it's blurry. So I looked around and I'm like, who? Where? Like, what? And she was coming in, like just coming in through the door with her friends. And I was like, oh shit, yeah, maybe. Didn't really think anything of it. I obviously know who this girl is, because when you break up with your man and then like a week later he's sleeping with someone else, you're gonna look through his following and find out who it is because you're nosy. Everyone does that. This girl had obviously done the same to me to find out who he was just with, because she knew who I was. It wasn't that big of a deal, I'll be honest. I didn't really spend that much time dwelling on it. The rest of the night continued. I had a great fucking time. I met the sort of host of that particular club night. We had a really nice conversation with him. We talked to him for a bit afterwards. The club finished at 4, and then about 5 minutes later we finally left through the door, and who was right outside the door basically waiting for me? Shanti fucking Dragon. As far as I know, that's actually her legal name, so make of that what you want. And I was a little bit confused. The first thing she says is, and I'm gonna act this out in the exact way that she said it. You can come to your own conclusion about the sincerity of this comment. Oh my god, I love your outfit. Where's it from? eBay? And I sort of just turned around and went, no, it's from Boohoo. You could sort of tell she was expecting me to react a little bit more, because she sort of went, oh, well, it looks like it's from eBay. And then she turned around and walked away. And I was just sort of stood there for a second like, what the fuck just happened? Like, what? And I walked over to Cora and I told her what had just happened. And she was like, what the fuck? And I was like, I'm really confused. Like, why has she got beef with me? Like, I've never met this girl before. I've never spoken to her. I've never made any contact with her before. Nothing. And the thing is as well is that I know she's not with our ex because he's with some other girl. Shanti's actually at this club with another guy. So I can assume she's really moved on. I'm definitely not with him. She just came up to insult me for seemingly no reason. And I walked back up to her and I said, what is your problem? I was just baffled. I was confused. And she was there with her friend on her phone and she just sort of looked up at me and went, I don't have a problem. And I was like, well, clearly you do because you just came up and insulted me for no reason. And then all of a sudden, this girl starts interrogating me, like, why are you here? How do you know about this place? What are you doing here? This isn't your scene. And I was like, oh my fucking God, chill. Like, my friend Cherry goes here. And I kid you not, her response was, I've been here loads. I don't know a Cherry. Who knows every single person that goes to a club? I didn't ask you if you knew her, but she says that as if I'm making Cherry up. And I'm like, okay, good for you. And then she starts having a go at me about my Instagram. She said, why are you tagging your pictures goth? You're not goth. What are you doing here? This isn't your scene. This is my territory. She's obviously looked at my Instagram very closely to actually also inspect my hashtags and has a problem with them for some reason. This was quickly then followed by, you used to have green hair. You're right, I did. I had recently dyed it black. She also has black hair. Apparently this was a thing. Sort of screamed that in my face. And then she told me to fuck off back to Plymouth. So I said, how do you know I'm from Plymouth? That's not on my Instagram. To which I didn't get a response. This girl obviously had a problem with me that I didn't understand. And it quickly escalated into her and her friends sort of ganging up behind me. There was a crowd forming. Everyone was getting very rowdy. It was just becoming a bit of a situation that I didn't want to be in. I didn't like being in. I was very cold, tired. It was 4 in the fucking morning. I was in heels, like my feet were hurting. I was holding my coat and my phone, just sort of like, I was not in the mood for this. I really wasn't. And this bitch is my height, as far as I'm aware, but was in like big platform boots. So she's fucking towering over me. And there's like all these people gathering around and I am getting very overwhelmed. I don't know if somebody pushed her or if she just sort of pushed herself into me, but that happened. And Cora said, hey, don't touch my friend. And then Shanti replied with, what are you gonna do about it? To which my friend, bless her, in her drunken state said, nothing, else I'll get deported. Shanti then responded with, fuck off to your own country then. She then also said that our ex likes to be dominated. That was very bizarre. I thought it odd that she'd want to say that in front of her new boyfriend as well, but you know, that's none of my business. And it just got very sort of rowdy, and next thing I know, she sort of just went for me and grabbed me by the hair like this. I know this is what it was like because I had a cut in my ear, insert picture, from her thumbnail, and she sort of grabbed like that and got my hair. I was pushed back up against the pole that I was sort of stood in front of and then dragged to the floor by my hair like that. I do get a little bit worked up talking about this because I'll be honest, it was kind of traumatic for me. Oh my god, my voice cracked, sorry. I know that for some people getting into a scrap after a night out is pretty common, and wouldn't think anything of this, but I'm not a violent person. I don't like I don't like getting into violent or aggressive situations. They really fuck me up. And, you know, my fight or flight response doesn't work. I have a freeze response. And I'm basically useless in those situations, and I felt very vulnerable. Oh my god, I hate this. I'm getting emotional. I don't want to cry in this video, so if I do start crying, I will just cut to when I don't. I hate this because it does... I feel like it sounds stupid to some people, because I know that, like, a lot of people, especially when they drink, are quite aggressive and have, you know, scraps with people. But this to me wasn't a scrap. It was just... I felt attacked out of the blue. I wasn't expecting it. If I confront someone about something, I'm expecting to have a conversation. I'm a very verbally communicative person, and I just I wanted answers. I wanted to understand what she thought I had done so that I could put it right. Because as I said, I don't like people thinking I've done something I haven't, and thinking that I'm someone I'm not. I was pulled to the ground by my hair, and she continued sort of pulling at it. Someone pulled her off me, and I was sort of on the ground on my knees. I cut and bruised my knees, and I was just sort of frozen. I didn't really know what to do. I still had my jacket in one hand and my phone in the other, and I'm very protective over my phone, so I definitely would not have dropped that. And I didn't even break my fall. I literally went, you know, neck first onto the ground and just landed on my hips and my legs. And I couldn't even get myself up. Some guy literally grabbed me by my arms and just pulled me up. He was trying to help me stand up, but I couldn't. I felt paralyzed. And then I had marks on my wrist. Like, you know, bless him, he was only trying to help and get me up off the floor, but that's how hard he actually had to, like, pull and lift me up, because I couldn't, you know, I couldn't help him and help myself stand up. He had to lift my whole weight by my arms. At this time, Cherry then arrived. She helped pull Shanti off of me, and she then sort of stood in front of me and kept us apart. Some of Shanti's friends and other people that were around were pulling her back. She was still trying to get at me, even though people were pulling us away from each other, and Cherry stood in front of me. And I remember just sort of leaning over Cherry's shoulder and saying, oh, by the way, this is Cherry, you know, the person that you basically said didn't exist. Yeah, so Cherry then stayed with me, and told me not to leave until Shanti and her friends had left, because I was going back on the train, I was going back on the tube with Cora, and she was worried that they might follow me in there or something, whatever. So she stayed with me outside the club until Shanti and her friends had left, and she was still shouting stuff at me from across the road. I do actually just want to clarify, I don't drink, so I was totally sober on the night that this happened, and I don't know how much she had drunk. I don't know if she was drunk. I have no idea. We were waiting for them to leave, and eventually an Uber arrived and they got in, and just before she got in, she tried to spit on me, and I saw her try to spit on me, and I sort of moved out of the way, and it landed on some guy's shoulder, and he just had a big, like, dribble of spit going down his shoulder, and I felt so bad, because, like, I knew that was meant for me. Yeah, but that's just really fucking gross. Like, who does that? We got home around like 5 a.m, I think, 5:30, somewhat around that time, and as soon as I got home, I sort of sat down and started processing what had just happened, and then I just had a massive panic attack, and I was crying and talking to Cora. I was trying to just sort of write it off as what had happened just wasn't a big deal, but my body was not letting me do that. I was just like shaking, and it was, I just felt awful. I felt fucking awful, and I hate that someone was able to do that to me. I hate it. I hate it so much. I was talking to Cherry about it over Facebook, and she told me that I should report it to the police. And I was sitting for a while like unsure whether to or not, because she was telling me like, you know, dude, you've just been physically assaulted. And I was like trying to not make a big deal of it because I didn't want it to upset me that much. Like, I didn't want to have to feel like I had gone through something shit. But I decided to, because I figured if I'm going to, I kind of have to do it now, because it's just happened. So I did, and I did it online. I sent an email in with my statement and all the information, and later that day a police officer came round and took my statement, took pictures of my injuries, and asked Cora about it, and took names of witnesses so that they could get statements from them and all of that stuff. And then I sort of just spent the rest of the day in bed, very sore. My hip was bruised from where I landed on it, I suppose, and then I had, you know, the cut in my ear and the bruises on my legs and stuff. But what took the longest to heal was my neck. That was so painful for weeks, because of how I literally went down via my neck, twisting like that. So all of this here was like sprained, and just, it was so fucking painful. And then I kept sleeping on it funny, which just made it take even longer to heal. And like, that was the worst part of it, to be honest. Like, bitch. And I was like terrified as well, thinking I had like lost a chunk of my hair, because I have really thin hair. I can't afford to lose a fistful, okay? So I was like, oh my fucking god, like there was bits of it on the floor. So yeah, you can see that I got worked up thinking about it, and I was like, do you know what, I am going to report this, because I do not feel okay. I feel like I've gone through something awful. So yeah, so then I also ended up reporting it to the university, because I don't know if this is a common thing that she does. And if it is, then it should be on her record if she does it again. This girl was in her first year. She's older than me. I believe at the time our ex was 19, I was 20, and she was like 23, I think. But because she had 2 years left at the university, I kind of felt like I should report it. Because I had reported it to the police, they believed me, and for my own safety, they gave me a panic alarm, because I did say that I was scared of seeing her around. How am I supposed to know if she's going to do that again if she does now see me? And I lived very close to the university, like just down the road. So even if I'm not in uni, she could still be very near where I live. And I was fucking terrified, I'll be honest, I was. So about a week later from the night that happened, the university suspended her from campus. And then about a month later, 2 days after I had moved back, because I had finished my course, they lifted her suspension, but she had to give notice every time she was gonna go onto campus. Yeah, that's what happened with the university. Then with the police, they didn't really help me at all. I did not have a good time with the police, really. I ended up contacting the owner of the venue myself and asking him about the venue CCTV, and I ended up meeting with him, and he brought me into the main office upstairs and let me look through the CCTV of that night. And sadly, you could see her leaving the club and then me leaving about 5 minutes later, and that's about it. Didn't cover any of the outside pavement where it happened, so that was pretty useless. So I told the police, don't bother wasting your time with that because I've already checked it and it's not there. However, there is a taxi company across the road and their taxis park outside the venue, so the cameras might have caught what happened next to one of their cars. And I went in there and they said they couldn't show me and I'd have to get the police to contact them. So I basically did the police's job and emailed them and stuff saying, yo, they should have it on CCTV, contact them. And they just never fucking did. And then like 2 months later, I finally actually get a response after being ignored. And they say that the CCTV has been overwritten and they're gonna close the case. So that was that with the police. It didn't really get anywhere. So Cherry was actually one of my witnesses for this happening, as she did pull her off me and then knows the rest of the events. But something I didn't know when this happened was that Cherry had actually overheard Shanti and her friends earlier on in the club in the toilets talking about me. And at the time, Cherry had no idea she was talking about me. They didn't use my name. Girls just bitching and being catty because they were drunk or whatever. So she didn't think of anything of it. But she did hear them saying she dyed her hair from green to black, and that they were gonna rip this bitch's hair out and get her. So when Cherry showed me her statement that she was sending to the university and the police, I then became aware that it was a planned attack. So yeah, that just kind of makes it worse. So I kind of hoped that that would have been the end of it there, really, and that she would have just left me the fuck alone. But it wasn't. She has been slandering me, basically, to people we both know, people that I don't know, and also photographers and models that I did know. And I noticed this happening. I would be following a model or a photographer. They would do a shoot with her. So basically immediately after meeting Shanti, they either unfollowed or blocked me. And I was using an app at the time that showed me who unfollowed and blocked me. And then I would look on their profile, see that they've recently met Shanti, and you know, you put the two together, it's not that fucking hard to work out what's gone on there. So yeah, that started happening not long after, and it's continued happening ever since. It's really fucking annoying. You've already assaulted me, and you've already tried to turn friends against me. I'll talk about that in a second. And then you're also trying to sabotage my career. Can you just fuck off? This kind of started actually straight after the incident with people that I had met and befriended at the club. The first one was a lovely girl called Hazel, who I actually met the first night I went to Reptile. Yeah, we got a picture together and it was just a good night. We added each other on Facebook, became friends, how shit usually happens. Then one day I got a message from her. Basically she told me that Shanti was really fucking pissed that we were friends and that she saw the picture of us at Reptile, sent it to her, and basically got really shitty with her about her being my friend and told her that the only reason I was being her friend was to get at her, which doesn't make sense because at the time of meeting her I didn't know that I had beef with Shanti. I didn't know that this was all going to happen, and also I didn't know that they knew each other because I kind of don't go into a club and assume that everybody knows everyone. The same thing then happened with one of my friends, Grace, who I am still close with now. Shanti also had a go at her, and then she ended up unfollowing both of us, and I messaged her like, yo, I thought we were friends, what's up? And she was just really fed up that Shanti was trying to drag her into some drama. And I explained what happened. She had done the same thing with Hazel. It sort of like made sense to her. Then it shortly after that started happening with models and photographers that I had met through Instagram and were following, and they were following me or whatever, like so again, this is weird because I don't know how she knew who was following me, because we had each other blocked at this point, and when you look through someone's following list you don't see names of people that you've blocked. So it was a bit bizarre that she was possibly checking to see if people were following me or not that she knew, and then basically telling them to unfollow me or telling them to block me. So I do actually have proof that Shanti has been slandering me. A couple of days ago I DM'd one of the photographers that he had actually blocked me not long after working with Shanti, and I didn't even mention her name. I didn't even have to say her name. He knew exactly who I was talking about, and basically I just wanted confirmation from him that he had blocked me because of what Shanti had said to him, and that she brought me up out of the blue at a shoot and lied about me. The thing is as well is that the ones that I know of are just the ones that I know of. There could be loads of others that I just haven't noticed, like people that might have unfollowed me that I just didn't notice unfollowed me, or now they won't ever talk to me or want to know me because of what she said. It's slander. It's ruining potential opportunities for me and shitting on my name, ruining my reputation. And that's not fucking okay. Like, that is not okay. Her story is that I am a stalker and have been stalking her, and I was stalking her for months and harassing her and going to all the same places, trying to be her. So I would like to take this opportunity to clear my name and debunk these claims and lies about me, because that's really what I feel like I need to do for me, because this is bothering me way more than it should. And I don't like people thinking things that aren't true and thinking that I am someone I'm not, and I don't fucking like it. It's not right. I shouldn't have to put up with that. I shouldn't have to worry about that. I shouldn't have to go into a club, because I do regularly visit London and stay in touch with my life there. Like, I lived there for 3 years. 2 of them, I didn't know this bitch existed, and it was great. You know, I had a life there. I went to alternative clubs before I knew who she was. I don't want to be going to events or meeting people and not knowing if they've heard something about me from her. We clearly have a lot in common. I am not going to deny that. If you go and look at this person, we clearly have a lot of mutual interests, right? Maybe our ex just has a type. That explains the whole being mad at my hair going from green to black thing. So let's start with that. Apparently me dyeing my hair from green to black was copying her. Every fucking person, 90% of the people in that club had black hair. I don't even need to explain how stupid this accusation is. I have had several hair colours. I have dyed my hair several hair colours. I've had black in my hair before. Okay, eventually the goal was to have black hair, but I knew that black hair was going to be in my fucking hair, and if I wanted to get it out, it was probably going to damage it a lot. So I sort of put it off until I felt like, okay, I'm ready to do this with my hair, I'm ready to go for it. So I went with bright fucking green, because I knew that I was not going to be able to do that after I have black hair. So going green for such a long time just postponed the inevitable. And I've had it ever since. Trust me, honey, I would not do this to myself. I would not, do you know what I mean? Like, what fucking... So then with the whole stalker accusation, how would I have known she was going? Like, I got there before she did. I don't have her on any social media. We don't have mutual friends as of yet, as far as I know. And I'm not psychic. I think really that's the main one. How would I have known that? The last time I actually saw her was in November. She was at a concert that I went to with me and my friend Chloe. Now, Chloe I have been friends with since I was also about 16. She was like one of my OG goth friends, and like my fashion sense that I grew into was very much inspired by her, or not necessarily like inspired, but the fact that she would wear it sort of helped give me some encouragement to be able to do the same thing. Nobody that knows me is surprised or confused by how I look and dress myself. Nobody. That ties in with the whole, you know, this isn't your scene that she said to me at the club. Like, why? How is it not my scene? It's an alternative club that plays rock music. I have been seeing alternative and goth and metal bands since I was 16, and I've been going to alternative clubs since I was 18. It feels like someone trying to take credit for your identity. I find that really insulting, like that really bothers me. And I hate that it bothers me, but it does. I have always found it very important in my life to just be 100% me and 100% honest. And, you know, people that I know have even said that with me, what you see is what you get. I don't change depending on who I'm around. I don't hide things on social media. I try and always just be myself. So for someone to try and take that away from me, I don't appreciate it. She was also telling people around the time of the incident that I was the one who attacked her. If I was the one that attacked her, why would I have tried so hard to get CCTV and report it to the police if it was going to show me being the attacker? If I did, why wouldn't she have reported it? I'm so annoyed that I didn't get CCTV, because that would have just ended all of this. That would have been the end of my word against hers. The only thing I have, really, to sort of prove that I'm not lying, is that I have proof of her lying. Here is a screenshot of her claiming that she has CCTV of me attacking her. And then here is a screenshot confirming with the manager of the venue that I was the only one they allowed to access the CCTV. And here is a screenshot from the police confirming that Shanti did not report a case against me. So she definitely didn't have any CCTV because 1, I didn't attack her, 2, there is no CCTV showing the event whatsoever, and 3, she also wasn't allowed in to see it. So this is just proof that she's a liar. So yeah, a couple of other things I just wanted to clarify. I'm not alternative because of her. I've been alternative since I pretty much popped out of the womb. Evanescence were one of my first ever favourite bands. I loved anything about witches. Like, this is not a surprise, and I'm not having some skanky hoe try and say that this is stolen from her. I know I'm being really sort of, I'm playing this off with comedy because otherwise I'll just get emotional. Again, other similar interests that I have noticed we have, just in case this has ever been brought up, because I don't know, but I'm not naive to the fact we have things in common. We run in a very similar circle. We have similar interests. We have similar interests in music, so we've been to the same concerts. We went to the same fucking university, so we have similar connections. But obviously the people she's telling this to don't know anything about me, so they could look at my page and think, oh yeah, she's quite similar to you, have no idea that it's nothing to do with her, and believe it, because why would they not? We both do some modelling, and I don't know if she wants to try and claim that as something that I've copied from her, but again, I did do my degree in photography. I did A-level photography, and when you study photography you end up having to do a lot of modelling as well, and I also used to just do a lot of self-portraiture. Just the fact that I'm working with more photographers now because I have the freedom and the confidence to, at the age that I am, is just sort of a natural progression way before I ever knew this person. We're also obviously very much into makeup, but I've been doing that, and I've been doing special effect makeup and Halloween makeup since I was about 13, and there's proof of that on my Instagram. I find it insulting and embarrassing for someone to think that I've created myself based on somebody else, and for that someone to also have been someone who assaulted me and caused me like literal anxiety and panic attacks is quite fucking insulting. And like, I hope you guys can see why this is like fucking bothering me so much, and I'm not like overreacting, because I'm sick of this. And I'm sick of this bothering me, and I'm hoping that by getting this off my chest and actually talking about it, and, you know, I just want to have put my side of the story out there, because I'm sick of constantly hearing her side of the story through other people and losing possible connections and possible friends because of something I haven't done. And we know she's lied about me because I've just debunked everything that she claims about me. A girl that I've never even met or spoken to. I know this sounds ridiculous, because it is. There was another model who was following me and we had DM'd briefly. She unfollows me. I asked her why, and she said that she doesn't know what happened between us. So obviously Shanti has told her to unfollow me. And this was only a few months ago. And the assault happened 2 years ago. So this is why I'm making this video, because this is continuing to go on this whole fucking time. Considering we've got each other blocked, why was she looking for me in following list or her follower list? This just is so purposeful and spiteful. And I think it's gone from her, you know, a year or so ago, she was actually giving details and telling people that I harassed and stalked her. And it's turned into, I don't want to talk about it, but it was really awful. When you know someone as being nice and they tell you this very brief sob story and that they don't want to talk about it, you're probably not going to try and poke and dive in to get more details. You're just going to take their word for it because they're your friend. That is just straight up slander and defamation. Like, for all I know, these people that were following me I could have eventually worked with. That's sabotage. If it wasn't for the fact that the police are kind of useless for things like this, I would actually file a case for slander, but I just can't be arsed, and I'm hoping I don't have to. I'm hoping this video is enough. I have had enough, and I don't need this hanging over me anymore, because this person should be so irrelevant because of my little contact with them, and yet they are causing me this much stress. And then I guess by telling people to unfollow me and to not work with me, you're reducing the chances of them ever finding out what they actually did. But that's what this video is for. Because let's face it, if I'm being accused of being a stalker and then I notice that someone has unfollowed me, and then I say to them, hey, this girl probably lied to you about me, I look like a stalker. So for a while I felt trapped, I felt stuck, I felt like I had no way of dealing with this, because it would only, by bringing it up, it would only make me look, it would only help her agenda. So that's why just putting it all out there, all or nothing really, is finally what I've decided to do. And I guess if people now know, then I'm actually protecting myself at the same time. It'll be easier for me to deal with knowing that I've put my side of the story out there. It's annoying that I feel like I've had to, but explain and justify myself for who I am as a person. Feels like someone's trying to take it from me, and I don't appreciate that. I don't really know what kind of response to this video I'm expecting, and thank you if you have watched it and gotten this far. I've talked a lot. Hopefully the screenshots have also helped you to follow the story and see where I'm coming from, because all of these little things individually weren't really very helpful to me in standing up for myself. But after all this time, having multiple people that I have found out have been lied to about me, having the photographer confirm that that's what's happened, you know, all those things have just helped me now be safe enough, I guess, to talk about it publicly. Because before, if I came on here and just had nothing to back up what I'm saying with, then I could easily just get shot down with lies denying everything. So after this, I don't feel like I'm going to have to explain myself anymore or try and prove anything, because you've seen it all at this point. And if you can't come to the same conclusion as the truth, then I don't know what else I can do. Just thank you to everyone who has supported me throughout this and listened. A lot of the close people in my life have supported and persuaded me to do this, because I did think long and hard about this and how I was going to do it and making sure I got everything in, because this is my one shot and I don't really want to talk about it again or make a video about it again. But also I have no idea what's going to happen after this video is posted. I've said my piece, and that's all I wanted to do. So thank you for listening. I shall see you in my next video, which will hopefully be a bit of a happier one. Okay, bye bye.